This clip is from the Boundary Riders podcast, and if you do enjoy this, then make sure to check out the full episode out every single Wednesday morning on YouTube and Spotify. Sam McClure has released his 2026 A-graders list. For the Crows, he's only got Jordan Dawson. For Brisbane, you got Harris Andrews, Lockie Neal, Hugh McCluggage, Charlie Cameron, and Dane Zorko. I don't know about Charlie Cameron on this list. I think he's probably dropped off in the last couple of years.
Well, last season he had the worst one he's ever had at Brisbane. Yeah. So I don't know how the hell he's still there.
Now, we've got Patrick Cripps and Jacob Wiedering for Carlton. Collingwood's only player on this list is Nick Dacos. Zach Merritt's the only Bombers player. For Fremantle, he's got Andrew Brayshaw and Caleb Sarong. For Geelong, Jeremy Cameron, Patrick Dangerfield, and Tom Stewart. I don't know about Dangerfield on this list. I think it's probably past him from being an A-grader now.
I think it's just the fact is that he's so, he's in the end of his career. If he's still their number one A-grader, a part of that A-grade club, he'll still play for good games, but every single player does.
Yeah,
that have shown over
the quality that he is.
Yeah,
of course, he's going to have some good games every now and then. Yeah. For the Gold Coast, he's got Noah Anderson, Matt Rowell, Christian Petrarca. For the Giants, Toby Green, Tom Green, and Sam Taylor. For Hawthorn, he's got James Sicily as the only Hawthorn player.
I don't think he should be either.
Yeah, I don't think he should be either. Max Gawn for Melbourne, Port Adelaide, Connor Rosie, and Zach Butters. Mitch Georgiades may be a little bit tough to not make this list, but
he did kick a lot of goals last season, but I think it was.
I think you have to do it more than one.
I think you have to do it one more. I think another season at his best, I think he can get in that.
Nasai, yeah. So St Kilda, he's got Nasai, Wanganeen, Miller. Do you think that that's a little bit early, recency bias, or do you think that's fair?
I think it is recency bias, but I think there's possibility of why he's there. But I think it's based on how he played last season. I think, by the end of
he's one of the more unique players in the game. I think that's fair enough. For the Swans, he's got Errol Goulden, Chad Warner, Isaac Heaney, Charlie Curnow. I'm going to make a big call here. The last couple of years, I wouldn't put Chad Warner. I think Chad Warner probably isn't on this list, to be honest. I think that he's dropped down a bit more. I think especially last year, his stats sheet would say he's done pretty well, but I think that he butchers the footy so much.
I think a lot of the contract talk last season showed that he won't say it, he was distracted by it. I think until he signed it, then he showed a few good games, but I think, he probably maybe doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. As a Sydney Swans fan, I love Chad Warner as a player, but I do think he needs to find more consistency to be seen as an A-grader. Isaac Heaney last year, people would have said that he had a down year compared to his 2024 campaign, but he's on this list now and he wasn't on there last year. I think he had a terrific season. I think it was a very underrated campaign from Isaac Heaney, but I do think that's a little bit of weirdness that kind of maybe falling to a little bit of pressure because Isaac Heaney, the reason him not being on there last year received a lot of scrutiny. So I think he's kind of put him on there. Because, what if you can't put him on there last year, how can you put him on there this year?
I think with the amount of injuries that the Swans had, I think he did, play a very good season for what other injuries to their top players had.
Yeah, and then finally he's got Marcus Bontempelli as the only Bulldogs player. So there are a few players missing from this list. First of all is Bailey Smith. Now, I don't mind him not putting Bailey Smith on this list.
No, he's been injured previous year. He played one good final series for the Dogs until he got injured and then left. And he played one good he played probably his best season this year against last year for the Cats. So I can see why he's not there.
Yeah, I would be. I'm not too disappointed. I'm not too concerned about that. Cozzy Pickett being not in there for Melbourne, I don't know. I wouldn't personally. If I saw him on that list, I would have been like, that's fair that he's on there. But him not being on there, I feel like I'm not exactly oh, that's bullshit. He got robbed.
Yeah,
For Sam Walsh, I think that's fair enough.
He's not even close to that. Sorry,
not the last couple of years.
No,
Max Holmes, I think, has been robbed.
Yeah, well, he's robbed of all Australians, so
I think he is one of the best. Yeah, I think honestly, I agree that I think he's more important to Geelong than Bailey Smith.
Yeah,
I think he's he's a very unique player and he uses the ball quite well. Josh Dacos, I'm not surprised by that. Josh Dunkley, I think he's incredibly underrated by a lot of people. I think he should have probably been on this list.
Yeah, is that the only one that isn't there? I think there's one more that still no one is considering.
Which one's that?
And it's the one that should have been for St Kilda. And I think Cal Wilkie should have been in that list.
Yeah, I mean, I think
he's. But I've always had a soft spot for Cal Wilkie, South Australian. Always wanted him back here, but
he was a Crows fan though.
Yeah, but I think he's still a. For some reason, I still think he's underrated. I still think a lot of people underrate him. Like he's, you know.
I mean, he didn't even make this team, and I think he's probably one of the best defenders in the game.
Isn't he a 2-time All Australian now?
Yeah, I think he'd be up there. 2 or 3.
I know he got it last year, but I think he's a. Well, he's definitely a 1-time All Australian. I know that, but
yeah,
still, I think All Australian. He should have. I think A graders. He's still one of the best.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, there's a couple of players on this list that I think Dangerfield. I think should be off this list. Charlie Cameron, I could take off this list as well. Potentially Chad Warner, although I'm not opposed to that. I think John Newcombe should be on this list. I think he is the only A grader at Hawthorn, right? Like right now, playing in round 1.
Yeah,
I think he's as important as James Sicily, and I don't think that Sicily should be on this list.
No.
But overall, I think that this hasn't received as much backlash as it did last time he released it. A lot of people probably would say that Max Holmes was very unlucky to not get picked in there. Isaac Rankin, some people are making the point of maybe he should have been on there. I think he needs to be a little bit more consistent. I think at his best he is.
I think if you don't have Cozzy Pickett, you don't have Rankin in that.
Yeah.
I think if you have Rankin, you have to have Cozzy in it.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. But yeah, that's pretty much all we've got on the Sam McClure front. If you had to give it a rate it or hate it, I mean, overall, I know this would be a bad thing to say. A lot of people more than happy to shit on Sam McClure, me included. I kind of rate it. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I think he's got most of them right. I think he's got most of it right.
And there's none there that I'm like, oh, that's not. Actually, you know what? Maybe James Sicily. I know that's kind of putting a lot on it.
Sicily's probably the one that I'm like, you don't have him on that list.
I would probably put Josh Battle in front of him from the last year or so. So, yeah.